Okay. Hi. Happy Saturday and happy first live stream on my channel. So after some shenanigans and craziness from me not being able to figure out what goes on, we are here. I'm going to pop on to my Instagram too and just tell them to come join me on the channel. So we can get this party started on Saturday night. Okay, let me tell them quick. Hi, my friends. Okay, it's time. It's official. Look, we are finally live streaming on YouTube. So hop on over to the Nerdy Girl Comics YouTube channel and let's chat how I started and kick off my channel finally. Better late than never, right? Okay, head over to Nerdy Girl Comics on YouTube, right? Meow, and let's chat. Okay, I'm gonna wait a few minutes to see who will come over with us. If you're on, say hello, welcome, and I'll just kind of start chatting, I guess, right? Sorry I'm late. I had a little bit of a crazy... Hi! I had a little bit of a crazy evening, teen mom life. Well, mom of a teenager life, I guess is the better way to say that. So welcome. If you don't know me, I'm Danielle, aka Nerdy Girl Comics. I know that there's been a bunch of buzz on YouTube recently about my mystery boxes. And this has been something that I've been meaning to do and start a channel, for, oh my gosh, like probably over a year now. And I've made some little appearances on other channels. And I kept telling myself, just start a channel, just do it. And I have a big presence in the Instagram community. So I felt like it was time to make the crossover to YouTube and start bringing some badass content. All right, first things first. How did I get started? Because I have people message me that question all the time. I probably at least once or twice, probably once a day maybe, I get a message that says, how did you get started in this? How did you get some of the books that you have? Because I know I kind of busted onto the Instagram scene a couple years ago, but I have been in comic books and doing shows for, 15 years. So I started back in 2004, 2005, like end of 2004, beginning of 2005. And I've always kind of dealt in bigger key books and big collections. So it's kind of something I've always been known for. And people are like, how do you afford these books? Are you a trust fund? No, there's just so much hustle. Like, I eat, sleep, and breathe comic books. And in the last couple of years, I added in video games to that. So it's kind of life, right? And if you're just getting on, say hi to me. I will love to see who's on with us. I was so nervous to do this. Like, I do these lives on Instagram every single Sunday. I try to jump on and chat back and forth because I'm very much an extrovert, and all of this Corona stuff has really kind of dampened my spirits a little bit. I miss shows. I miss connecting with people. I just miss human interaction, right? Like, I think sometimes we forget how hard this whole crazy world we're living in right now is for extroverts. It's not easy, y'all. I swear. So my boyfriend I met was doing this 15 years ago and kind of introduced me to this whole world of comic books. And at the time I was like, comic books, like you actually make money selling comic books? Like, it was a foreign concept to me. I couldn't understand how people could spend thousands of dollars on a book. Just started following you on Instagram. Hi, Jessie. Glad to see. Yeah, I was just saying thanks for the follow too, and thanks for coming over here and chatting. And I know, finally, that's what I was just saying a few minutes ago. I'm like, this is something I've been talking about for years, literally for years. And I'm finally like, all right, I'm home anyways. What else am I going to do? Let's add one more thing to my plate and kick off a YouTube channel on top of it all. So it was really foreign to me, like the idea of buying and selling comic books for a career, like not for a hobby, but as a career. And probably 6 months in, we ended up purchasing a Marvel Comics 1. And it was like, how the hell are we going to pay for this book? It was a 9.0. It was like 130 grand. I'm like 22 and pregnant. Like we were not super well off at the time. It was very much this is a grassroots business built from the ground up with very little investment. It's all just wheeling and dealing and flipping and upgrading and making connections and finding collections. So we bought this Marvel 1 and we're like, holy shit, I can't believe we won this. How are we ever going to pay for it? Oh, okay. I will do, like, instead of a picture of me, do pictures of the books in a thumbnail. And guys, hey girl, if you can share this as you're watching to see if other people want to join and jump on, please do. I encourage you to share the stream. So another dealer ended up finding out that we won this book and reached out and said, hey, if you want to flip this and just make some money, we can pay the auction house the cost of the book and send you the difference. And it was like, oh, okay, we can make like 30 grand and we don't have to do anything. Okay, that's dope. Turns out here we are 15 years later, that same 9.0 is one that upgraded and just sold for a hell of a lot of money, way more than 130 grand. So I kind of started seeing the light then, and started learning a little, and I started kind of paying attention to different covers and finding different covers I like that I could connect with, because I don't read comic books. On my channel, you will never, ever, ever, unless something very drastic changes, see me chatting about the modern market and modern speculation. If you ask me about Miles Morales or what's the other, Punchline or any of that crazy stuff, I know nothing. If you ask me about Captain America 1, I'll talk to you about the history of it and we'll have a great conversation. But if you ask me about anything new, it's not my forte. So then a couple years ago, fast forward, and I've kind of been on the show circuit all this time. I'm sure I've met some of you guys. I do a lot of the big shows, New York Comic Con, San Diego Comic Con. I go walk around at C2E2 every year. It's my favorite show from a social standpoint because so many people come to that show from all over. And it's really nice to get to see people that maybe I only see once or twice a year. I think that's why I'm so missing shows right now. Like when I went to C2E2 this year, I was so sick that I didn't really get to hang out with a lot of people and get to really enjoy the show. So I haven't had a show since, oh gosh, New York Comic Con back in October. So it's been a hot minute. So a couple years ago, I was at a show. I think I was in Chicago actually. And someone came up to me and said, oh, you're Nerdy Girl Comics. Not yet, Amy. Let me get through this part. Then we'll talk about other stuff. You're Nerdy Girl Comics on Instagram. And I had no idea that people even followed me because a couple years ago, my Instagram was more of a social thing versus a business. I have turned it into a business, which I'm super thankful for, especially during all this COVID thing. My heart aches for dealers who solely rely on shows to carry them through. I've been able to kind of work with people on here and I still get to run my business. So I made an effort a couple years ago to decide to really start bringing good content and grow my following and start connecting with as many people as I can, because we're in such a technology and social media driven era in our lives that I feel like if I didn't, I would have been missing out, one, on a ton of connections. I've made some really great friends thanks to Instagram, and some great business contacts. And I don't think I would have met them just purely through shows, because they're from different areas that maybe don't go to the big shows. And I don't go around to a lot of smaller shows because my inventory is so small that it's not cost effective, you know? So now here we are, 15 years later, and I think I'm one of the only prominent female dealers in the industry, and I've kind of like changed the game a little. So, all right, now that you have a little bit of my background, I mainly focus on big grails and key issues because for me, it's what I am known for. So it's what people come to me for. So I've just kind of evolved with that. All right, what else? You guys talk to me. Ask me some questions. What do you want to know? What can we chat about? Bring it all on. And let's have a dope live. Cheers. Hey. And if you have subscribed, I appreciate you. Oh, thanks. My little paparazzi finds. So cute. I miss shopping so much. I think that's one of the biggest things for me, is human interaction. But again, I'm so thankful. That's why I love doing my live streams. Hey, Ben. That's why I love doing my live streams on Sundays, because it lets me still engage and chat with you guys. So is it appropriate that I'm dubbing this like the origin story? Kind of is, right? Hey, welcome. Thanks for jumping on. If you're just joining, drop some questions for me and let's chat. Can you believe I'm finally doing this, Ben? All this time I talked about it. So I've known Ben for, oh my gosh, probably 13 of the 15 years I've been in the hobby. My people. What's your most valuable comic book you have? Probably Action 1 or Tech 27. They're tied for 1 and 1, if that makes sense. My husband got a Secret Wars 8. Ah, that's so awesome. Secret Wars 8 is such a great cover. I don't follow much modern, but those Infinity little series, the little mini series, and the Marvel Secret Wars and Spidey 300, those are some dope cover arts. I always appreciate good artwork in general. All right. Can you see if you... Yannika's toy reviews? Is it Ionikas? Ioniacus? Can you spell it phonetically? Like how you'll say it? Okay, so let me ask you guys, is 7 o'clock on Saturday nights an appropriate time for live streams? Because I'd like to set a schedule and give me feedback on what kind of content you want to see from my channel, because really this channel only grows if you guys grow with me. So my goal is to... Ionicus. See, that was good. My goal is to just build a community here, right? Like, we're all connected through comics one way or another, and I just love the community. So I want to know what I can do to make this a great channel. Who is your favorite female comic character? Golden Age would be probably Wonder Woman. Silver Age would be Black Widow. She's so badass. I like Black Canary too if I went the DC route. What are some of your recent pickups? So I've been buying a lot of video games lately. Comic books, I just picked up an Amazing Fantasy 15 1/8. I did a trade for my Action 2. I posted that on my page. I don't know if you guys saw it. Poison Ivy is a good choice also. She's dope. I'm more of a Catwoman than Poison Ivy, though. I'm trying to think of what books I've picked up lately. I picked up a Hulk 155. An FF1. I did a trade for a game. I'm trying to think of what else. Video games, I've picked up some really great games that I'll be sharing shortly. I'm still waiting for a couple to come in. So as soon as I get them, I'll post them and share them. Let's see. Can you see? All right. Is there a huge, Jesse, what have you picked up recently? Let me ask you guys, what are some of your most recent pickups? And then I'll go to, is there a huge difference between CGC and CBCS? In the market, there is, but I feel like that gap has been closing some. I know that CBCS has just released new cases, and they're getting some pretty great reviews and feedback. I do a lot with CGC, mostly because it's what I've always had. But I live 15 minutes from CGC, so it's very convenient for me to just go there and drop off and pick up. But I know people at both companies. They're all great people, and you can't go wrong either way. What else do you collect? So I collect video games. I collect original comic book art, and I collect comic books. I thought about diving into the sport, into like the Pokemon and Magic world, but then I decided I already spent enough money in these other hobbies that I really don't need another one right now. And that means I have to learn a whole new hobby because I know nothing about Pokemon or Magic cards. What else do you guys collect? That's a great question. I'm reading the comments as we're going, so that's why I keep pausing. I've just started out on my comic journey. Welcome to the comic book world. What do you collect? I could see you as Catwoman. Yes, Catwoman is life. She is so sassy. I got and sold Superman. Okay, Jesse. Okay, so Simon Comics is Jesse. He is like the up and coming dealer. He is a hustler. I had the fortunate opportunity to meet him in New York City, and he is a straight hustler. In 5 years, he'll have probably a pretty dope collection if he keeps going the way he is. He works hard. He's what, Jesse, are you 17, 18? Sorry if I put your business out there, but I respect you, bro. You're doing your thing. My Batman burst, TMNT, Damien. Oh, no. That sucks. I'm sorry. I hope there's no casualties. Was it a bust, a statue? Okay, Jesse, I see you. I started getting to more collecting statues with display cases. I really want some Nintendo display cases. If anyone knows of any in Florida, like in the Tampa, Sarasota area, or even on the East Coast in Miami, of people who have Nintendo displays, I want one so bad for my personal collection to display games in. If you're ever looking for a comic. Girl, yes, of course you can look for me to see if I have it. Of course. I just got... Okay, so I am strictly a vintage girl. So if you collect newer stuff, props to you. We all collect what we like, but I won't be able to understand a lot of what we talk about if we go new. That sucks. I'm sorry that happened. I thought about collecting some statues and busts also, figures. They have all these different names. It's a whole other world to me also. And sneakers. I thought about maybe collecting some sneakers. I've started with. Do you have a She-Hulk one yet, Andrew? International comics, like a business, or foreign prints of American comics? I'm waiting for the comments to catch up. Sorry, my friends. This is so weird being on YouTube on my own channel. Yeah, for sure. So my favorite vintage comic books would have to be like all the timelies, especially from the early 40s and like World War II era. The covers were so great then. They were so gritty and filthy, and there were no boundaries. They could be as offensive and like telling of what was happening, right? Because there's a very big parallel to what was going on in our history. So I think that's why I love those books so much. Is it's so historical while also being an escape for so many people back then. Hopefully something. Listen, I have She-Hulk ones for days. It's become like my signature in my mystery boxes. I surprise people with She-Hulk ones in them. Action figures are an addiction. Yeah, I'm not going down that road either. They're comics in French. I don't have any foreign comics, unfortunately. I'm sorry. I wish I did for you. I love me some timelies. And I also love some of the pre-code horror covers. They're so great. Black Cat 50 with that melting acid face. Ridiculousness. Yeah, that's my favorite part about the older Golden Age books. It's such a great cover. Yeah, I agree with you. She's badass. That's a great image of her. Also want a Nova one. I just sold a Nova one recently. If I get another one in, I can reach out to you. Shoot me a message on Instagram. How did you start your comic collection? Go back and watch the beginning of my video. The first 10 minutes were all about how I dove into comics and got here. Yeah, for sure. Shoot me a message on Instagram. I can ship to UK. I feel bad shipping to UK sometimes. It's very expensive. The prices keep going up. I love. So that's my girl. I have 2 cats and a pup. Obviously, I have my Toby. He's like my sidekick. He's like my Crypto. Is that the dog? Yeah. He's like my Crypto. When I was trying to think of a name for him, I was trying to think of a cool superhero name, but none of them fit because he was supposed to be this little 15-pound tiny dog mix. And had I known he was going to be a 60+ pound beast, I would have chose Thor. Obviously, that's my favorite Silver Age superhero. What is your biggest comic you haven't gotten yet? I have so many books that I want. I'd like a unrestored All-American 16. I don't have one of those in my collection. I'm always looking for an upgrade to Action 1. But most of the big books I already have in my collection. So it's more just finding upgrades and better copies. But I need a Morphin 52. I need an All-American 16. You know what book I love that I never win because I never want to pay enough for it is Reformed Schoolgirl. It's a one-off, but it's such like a gritty cover. I want that and a Playboy one. But every time they come, they go for like maybe 20% more than I'm comfortable paying. So one of these days, I'm just going to have to overpay in my mind so I can finally have one. I love our adventures too. Seriously, I grew up with dogs and then I had cats for a long time because I would travel. And then my daughter wanted a puppy so bad. So finally we decided we're going to get one. And home comes Toby. And let me tell you, he's the greatest decision. I just love him so much. He's so sweet. He's like the coolest dog, truly. Do you have a goal for your collection, like showing it off? There's a beautiful Marvel exhibition in Seattle last year. Very cool. My collection isn't that big that I think that I could ever do a full exhibit. I don't know the answer to that question. Maybe. I don't know. Back in when I lived in Rochester, before I moved down to Florida, we had one of the greatest children's museums in the country. It's renowned. And they had a whole display area they had like a comic book section. And it was so neat because they had comics on display. They never told me who they were from. I wanted to buy some of them, but there were some great books. And in that wing, they had like different CGCs on the wall and display. So maybe something like that, but that makes me very nervous. My daughter is 14. Just got a load from Torpedo. Yeah, Torpedo are my people, but shipping's so expensive. So Rochester, New York is my hometown. We were practically in Canada. Now I'm down in the Sunshine State, and thank you. Thank goodness, especially through all this quarantine. At least I can quarantine poolside. Bright side, it's like the wild, wild west down here. But at least I have a pool and everything I need. I don't have to go anywhere. I'm waiting to see the next questions. I'm so happy we're finally doing this, my friends. Okay, keep them coming. Rapid fire questions at me. Let's do this. I have something really good coming in on Monday. Well, let me not oversell it, but I have something good coming in on Monday. I'm excited. I haven't had one in a couple months, so I'm happy to get one back in. And I know some people will be happy I have it because you're looking for it. What do you guys think the hottest Silver Age books are right now? And then I'll tell you what I think. Or should we save that for a separate live and we just do a little Q&A today? How many of your comics? Oh, I don't do signature series, Amy. I can't justify overpaying for a signature I know someone paid maybe $50 or $100 for. So I just don't play in that market at all. More power to you. Obviously, I respect Toby. I respect whatever anyone collects. That's what makes this hobby so great, right? Is that we can all collect different things, but we're still connected. It does totally take away from the image. I agree. Very rarely is a signature done with good placement. I 1,000% agree with you. If anything, I prefer signatures inside the front cover, but then no one wants to pay for it because what's the point? No, when I do shows outside of Chicago, which I walk around at, all the other shows I go to, I have a booth, so I'm tied to my booth. People have asked me to like stand in line for exclusives or to get signatures. And hi, that's just not my thing. I can't imagine the people who stand in line all day for exclusives. I would lose my mind for real. I've had a chance to meet some artists, and there are some really nice guys and gals out there. But signatures just aren't my thing. My favorite shoes I have. Ah, nice. You need to get the old school ones, Angela. Hi, Ashley. Hey, girl. Hey. How are you? How's what feels like forever of home life with all the shows. No. What else? Have you thought about opening up a web store? I just recently started playing around with trying to do an app, but I'm probably going to have to call a company and have someone do it for me because I am not super technological. Is that the right way to say that? Like, I am not great with technology. I understand Instagram, I understand YouTube. Although, if you saw me trying to go live, I had to go on a different browser because it took me like 10 minutes to figure out how to make the camera show me on the screen. So, yes, I have an eBay store that I try to list stuff in, and I do a lot of no reserves. I have a new set of listings going up this Sunday, so watch for those. But yes, and if you're ever looking for something, feel free to shoot me a message. What state are you located in? I am in Florida, in the Sunshine State. That's the oldest I got right now. Yeah, there's so many great vintage issues. Why did you start comics and games? I already talked about comics forever ago. Games, I got pushed into doing games, and I'm so thankful I did. It's one of the best decisions I made, truly. You were one of those big contributors on pushing into games. Literally, like, one of the best decisions in from my dad. One of the best decisions in business that I've made was diving into video games. It's taken me in a completely different direction, but it's so good. What is the rarest comic or game that you have found? Does Action 1 count as rarest? Action 2, no. Hi. Action 2 has less copies than Action 1. Game? Ooh, that's a good question. Because rarity on games is so much harder than on comics. Probably Left Bro, Super Mario 3, or Sonic 1. Mega Man 1, that one's really rare also. In terms of sealed copies, so I'm only talking sealed copies with rare games. There are thousands upon thousands of complete in box of all of these games, but there are not a lot of sealed copies available. Look, guys, if you could see my current situation, my arm is moving because my dog is sitting next to me. The cat is in front of me. It's a crazy train here. Do you memorize? What's a comic rating? What's that mean? Hit your cons. So many people. I love cons. They are truly my happy place. Grading. Mostly slabs because it's easier for me to buy and sell a slab because it's already been graded by a third party and we don't have to go back and forth on agreeing or disagreeing on a grade. It just makes my life easier. They know what they're getting. I know what I'm selling. We're on the same page and so much easier. eBay, I do sell more raw books though. Like the grades, like memorize the grading scale or the books that I have. Do you memorize the grades? Girl, no, I can't remember all those. I usually have a general idea of what grades I have, yes, but I don't always remember every grade I have. Like some books I'll have multiple copies of, and I won't remember if I have an 8.0 or an 8.5 or a 9.0 or a 9.2. But I try to have a good idea, especially on bigger books, of what I have. It's good to know what we have. Check out Jimpy Zhao and Bella's toy chest. Ah, very cool. Okay. In chat and just joined. I'm from Rochester, New York. So I moved down to Florida 2 years ago almost. But that's my hometown. I'm so glad we're doing this. So fun. I missed my live last week, and if you follow me, you know I had a few minute blurb the other night that was a train wreck. Sorry, guys. But like, this makes my heart so happy. This is like really putting it out into the universe, though. The difference between Instagram and YouTube, I think for me, is like Instagram is like my own little hub. YouTube is a whole other world, I feel like. All right, hit me with some more questions. I figure we'll go for like an hour or so. What's your system? Oh, SMJ. My storage organization is not great. I'm so disorganized. Yannickas, have a great night and enjoy your live stream. Feel free to send me a link and I'll try to jump on when I'm done. What's your system? I try to have some kind of, at least on my CGCs, they're all alphabetized. I have a separate area I keep my games in. And then all of the other random books that I use for mystery boxes, books that I pull to throw up on eBay, they're kind of everywhere and I'm working on organizing them now. My business is kind of forever a work in progress. I'm always looking for new ways to improve and organize myself. I do San Diego Comic-Con. One of these years, I swear I'm going to make it to Emerald City. I've heard amazing things about it, and it's a show that I've been dying to do for forever. One day. I also I did last year and the year, did I do 2 years? Yeah, at the last 2 years, I did a torpedo show in LA. And I know John is still willing to do it this year, but I don't know that I'm brave enough to go out to California just yet. If I do, I will for sure let you know. Some people try to make a killer profit. So I really am not, I don't want to say this the wrong way, but no, I'm not willing to take a loss on a book because at the end of the day, this is my business. And you wouldn't go into Target and say, hey, can you sell this for less than you paid or it cost you to manufacture it? Typically, we don't do that. So, of course, I'm in this. This is my business, right? So I'm in this to make a profit. I'm willing to make less on something if it's something someone truly wants. But I also feel like a lot of people overutilize it's for my personal collection. I've been looking for this book for forever. I'll never sell it. And then like a week later, it's up for sale. Don't bullshit me. I'd much rather you just are forthcoming with me and say, listen, this is what I want to pay than say, da-da-da. So yes, I am willing to be flexible on my pricing, but I'm not willing to take a loss. Emerald is on my list too. I grew up in Palmyra. I grew up in Greece, New York, actually. Emerald, yes. Oh, thanks, girl. It's like I don't know. I feel like it's a hot mess right now, if I'm being honest. But thank you. It's all like faded. I'm trying to decide if I should shave this again. Should I? It's growing out a lot. I will be on Instagram live streaming. See me through there here. Okay, cool. I will make sure I at least try to jump on and say hey. Which Hulk one do I have up on eBay? All right, I'll have to have my daughter take clippers to it for me. She's my current barber. Look, I was showing you my color and now I messed all my hair up. Do you like my earrings too? Fancy, huh? Yes, yes, yes. I know. Emerald. So shows I want to go to that I have not been to would be Emerald City, Baltimore, because I've heard great things about that. It's another big one I want to go to. I've heard Boston can be hit or miss. Maybe Boston. Heroes, which I'm so sad for them. All these shows being canceled sucks. I grew up in the city of Rochester, so I went to city school, but I grew up in Greece near Spencerport, Brockport, and Hilton. Don't know if you shared before. What is the most you ever? Ooh, that's a good question. I've made over 100,000 on a book before. And then I turn it over and I put it into more books. Okay, shoot me a message on the Hulk one. I actually have a couple of copies that are 7.5s. Have you ever run into someone famous that knew you before you knew them? No, I'm not that big yet. Maybe one day. Like they recognized me from like social media and knew who I was. Like that kind of run into them and where they recognized me. It's really funny because I've had people ask me if they can come up to me and like say hi at a show if they see me. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just a regular person like you guys. Like, come say hi, take a selfie, introduce yourself. If I have something you're interested in buying, maybe we work out a deal, but always come say hi to me if you see me at a show. I just started collecting a little over a year ago. Ah, that's awesome. That's what it is. It's the hustle, right? It's what drives us. So, one thing I also do, and I'll put out here into the universe in case anyone has a lead, is if you know where a large vintage collection is and maybe you can't afford it and that's why you haven't followed up on it, or if you see one, reach out to me. I'm always happy to finance deals and we split the profits. Like if you bring me a deal, I'll put up the money for it and then we split profits. I found a lot of collections doing that years ago and then it kind of tapered off some. I moved into bigger books and video games and different things. But if you know where collections are and you just can't swing the cost of them, let me know and I'm sure we'll work something out. Were you a lover? Girl, no. I did not read comic books. I still didn't read a comic book. Are you back to liking books some now? What are you reading right now? Is it hard to get started with doing? It's not hard to get started with online selling, but it's hard to learn a new market. It took me a long time to learn comic books, and the market is changing so much and so fast that even still, you really have to be on top of it to stay in tune with what stuff is selling for. Do you have a Grail comic or game that you haven't found yet? Yes. I want a White Bullets sealed Mike Tyson's Punch Out. If you know where one is, let me know. Go find me one. I will pay a lot of money for it. I will also pay a lot for a sealed TM first print Legend of Zelda one. From your experience? No, I don't. I think that Golden Age keys will always hold up and hold value because they're what started comics and they're so iconic and people are always going to want to collect them. But I think a lot of the random issues from the Golden Age are already getting soft. And I think in 10 to 15 years, we'll look back and wish we would have sold more. I think Silver Age is going to hold up very strong across multiple issues, not just keys, because of the generation of people that are growing up into comics and collecting them. I just started YouTube. This is my first ever YouTube video. Are you going to join TikTok? So I have TikTok downloaded on my phone and I have a TikTok, but I've never posted a video. and I don't really know how to edit them. So I don't really know how to use TikTok. But if someone will teach me, then yeah, I would probably love TikTok. Post one on TikTok. I don't know how to edit them to post one though. I don't know how to make the sounds come into your video. Can you send me like a tutorial video so that I know how to do it? Okay, deal. Because I really don't know how to do it. Oh, my daughter can make you a star. Yes. Do you think non-superhero stuff? I think that it goes back to iconic covers will hold up. I think that Shock Suspense 6 will hold up. I think that some of the pre-code horror will hold up, like Mask 1, because they're such classic, great images. I think that random Tales from the Crypt will probably not be as desirable 10 years from now, but maybe, who knows? This market has a way of surprising me. I'm not going to lie. Like, I think I know something, and I think I know patterns that are going on, and then all of a sudden, something new changes the trajectory. No, Marissa, my daughter, does not like, well, she likes video games. She plays Fortnite all the time. Comic books. She does Fortnite and she does Call of Duty. She just started. She doesn't do Roblox. She used to do Minecraft, but doesn't anymore. She definitely likes the games more than comics. You see Toby? I'm trying to think of other great covers that I think will hold up. I think the great war covers will hold up because they'll always be part of our history. And I think that there will always be people who want to collect them. So I think those will hold up over time. I think all of your Golden Age keys. Look, even Adventure 40, I just sold one and I couldn't believe how strong it was. Like, I was super happy, and I'm super happy for the buyer. He's not funny. Is there more room? Yeah, I think the Giant Size X-Men 1 is one of those things that it's so iconic, and it's such an entry into the new history of the X-Men that there will always be a market for that book. Giant Size X-Men 1, Hulk 181, Spidey 129. Like, these are all of the characters that are still relevant today, and it's their origins. So you're always going to have a market for books like that. Did Hulk 181 get a little soft for a little bit? Yes. Does it happen in cycles? Of course. Is it starting to trend back up? Of course it is. That's what happens. That you're surprised are not trending. Ooh, these questions are thinkers, guys. Are there any books that you love that you're surprised? I'm going to go back to your question. If you could recommend one book, Amazing Fantasy 15. Well, I guess it would depend what kind of budget and what kind of price range. I think Amazing Fantasy 15 will be it's Spider-Man. And in years from now, Spider-Man is going to be like Superman. Like, he kind of already is. But I think that gap gets closer and closer the more that age gap grows. I got into games 2 years ago. Okay, if you ever find another collection that's a great collection and you can't swing it, shoot me a message or call me. My phone number is in my Instagram profile, or shoot me a text. I'm always down to finance a deal and split the profits. We all win that way. I think that some of the random like actions that are still great covers, I'm surprised some of those haven't gone up more and have actually gone down in value some. Action 7 has gotten a little soft lately, and I'm a little surprised by that because it's second Superman cover. I mean, what? So some of those things kind of surprise me sometimes. Will you be holding? I don't really do a lot of live. Actually, I've never done a live auction. I don't think the books that I sell would do well in that kind of format. So it's kind of something I've avoided. I don't foresee doing that. I mean, unless I get something in where I can do like $5, $10, $15, $20 auctions, maybe. But I'd rather put books like that into mystery boxes for you guys. Speaking of, they'll be coming soon. I promise. I was sorting through books today to start building them. I'm going to do it differently this time. I'm actually going to put different price points together ahead of time and have a set number of each price point, and then it's first come, first serve. And that's how I'm going to do it this time. So no one gets frustrated that maybe I'm working slower or they're too excited and they have so much anticipation. So I think this time I'm going to pre-make them, have a set number, and then first come, first serve. So make sure you pay attention to my claim post when I finally post it. Give me all the TikTok tips so I can grow a TikTok next. Do you? Actually, I think I see more FF48s than giant size X-Men ones, Myra. No, I kind of just decide at this day and time I'm going to post it, and then I do, and yeah. If you ever found someone who really wanted to get into the business. Ooh, maybe Amy, but I'm so chaotic on my own that I don't know how great of a mentor I would be. I'm always happy to talk about it, but if you know me in my real life, I'm kind of a hot mess express. Let's be real. I'm sure you know that just from my Instagram. But I do my best. What apps source do you prefer? I use GP Analysis. I use the Heritage Archives. And I use eBay Sold. I know there's also a site Go Collect out there, but I don't use it, and it would mean learning a whole new site when I already use GPA, and it's my comfort zone. What else? Hit me. Let's do like a few more. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I'm going to upload this one and like leave it on my channel, guys. We're making progress. Have you ever? No, I have not tried Mercari. I actually didn't really know much about it until I was on there and I saw a game I wanted and it sold. So now every once in a while I go on and just look around. Is it easy to sell on? Someone told me they prefer Mercari over eBay because you have to pay immediately for something. I think that a famous celebrity ended up with the Marvel one I talked about earlier. I know that there are some pretty big collectors in comics. I know Leonardo DiCaprio is. I know there are some musicians. One of the band members from Tool bought a couple books from me last year at the Torpedo Show. That was cool. Do you prefer? What do you think if I'm a schmoozer? Of course I am. My charm is part of who I am. I obviously prefer hunting in real life, but since March, I really haven't done much or left my house much. So I've solely been looking online and buying online and auction houses, of course. Really, Amy? Okay. Do you sell comic books or other stuff? Are you allowed to play music in the background on YouTube? I know on Facebook you're supposed to say I don't own the rights to this music. Is it similar on YouTube? Doesn't everyone prefer to hunt in real life so you can actually look at what you're buying? I would think that makes it much easier. Hey, Virginia. I'm so happy. Loves them. I've had some of my upload muted. Oh, hang on. Okay. Just in case they can hear it. Yeah, I mean, it's so much easier. You get to look and see what you're actually buying. I mean, I know that for me, oh, hi. I know that they're already graded, but not all 9.0s are created equal and not all 4.0s are created equal. So I really like looking at a book in person versus scans. And sometimes colors are like super high contrast. And when you get it in, the colors are not nearly the same. Very cool. I didn't know you resold Amy. That's dope. Do you believe uncanny? Of course it's worth its value. I actually don't really go to local comic book stores very often. I probably should, but most of the time they don't sell the stuff that I'm buying. So I usually just wait for shows, and that's where I make most of my in-person purchases. How quickly do you scan the collection? What do you look for? What catches your eye? So when I look at a collection, I go for keys first because I'm basing my purchase price off of what keys are in a collection, right? Because that's the bulk of your value. Usually when I buy one, I pull all the keys, I sell them. And that's how I end up with all the books for mystery boxes, is that I already pulled all of the keys, got the money out, and then I hate doing manual labor, guys. I'd much rather like just buy high-end books and flip them because it's so much easier than putting in the work. But I'm really loving doing mystery boxes, so it's kind of given me a new motivation and drive. Whenever shows open back up, I'm worried they're not going to open until like 2025 at this point. So lame. We do, just a little bit. True, right? Listen, the hustle's real. I respect it. I need some interns. I probably do need some interns, but I have some like trust issues and I have like a lot of high-end stuff that it would be a huge trust factor to let someone in and trust them with all my stuff. So that's why I never have employees, honestly. That's why when you see me at shows, I don't usually have people with me unless I'm sharing a booth with someone. Brick Springfield. That's cool. Sure. I need one. Do you have a calculator? What is your time worth to resell them? Do you go for half value? No, I don't really have a calculator. On keys, I'll pay like 70% of value. And then the rest, I figure out a number where I feel like, okay, if I pay this much, I am comfortable with it. And that's kind of how I do it. And no two collections are alike, right? Like maybe what works on one collection doesn't work on another one. Maybe the books in one collection are pristine, so maybe you can pay a little bit more for them because it's not just the keys that you're going to get money out of. You're going to get money out of some of the other random issues because they're so nice. So maybe you can pay a little more for those, or maybe they're really low grade and it's going to be really hard to get even a few dollars out of each book. I do need an intern. That would make life easier. How far would you travel? Oh, I flew to Rhode Island a year and a half ago. I find the fun of it's so true. So years ago, we bought a comic book collection. When we got there, it was looking like it wasn't going to work because the value wasn't there the right way that was supposed to be. And this woman is like, it's okay, I have art. And it was completely out of nowhere. At the time, we knew nothing about original art. It was a very foreign market. This is probably, oh my gosh, 6 or 7 years ago. And so she starts pulling out like these drawers and boxes upon boxes of original art. And that was what started artwork, right? Like that was the beginning of that. And at the time, we're like, oh my gosh, we're overpaying. This is going to be a nightmare. We're going to lose money. And it ended up being probably one of the greatest deals that we've done. And we actually ended up sending money back to the woman because we did so well on it that it felt like it wasn't right to not give back something on it. It was completely unexpected for her. And you have to treat people right. You seem to enjoy the occasional cocktail. I do seem to enjoy the occasional cocktail, sometimes more than I should probably. Tonight, I'm sticking with hard seltzer. I'm living dangerously. The Rhode Island collection had the Action 1 to 400 in it, along with like 700 or so other books. Do you have a payment plan? For sure. I'm always happy to offer time payments. I ask for a 20% non-refundable deposit, and then we can figure out the length of terms, and I can be flexible with that. I've gone up to a year for people. Would you drive? Sure. Why not drive to Pembroke Pines? Pembroke Pines? How do you say? How can you quickly get good at grading? Ooh, grading takes time, and it's a lot of trial and error. I would say do submissions with CGC or CBCS, whatever company you choose, and write down what you think the books will grade out, and then grade them and see what the grades come back. Or if you have someone you know well that is very well at grading, ask them to help you out. It's getting dark out, guys. I might have to go soon. So I think that, and it's such a learning curve, and the grading standards do change. Like, it happens. It's a learning curve for sure. Restoration detection is even harder. That took me years. We liked it. Listen, I am a people person, and people truly make, that's what drives me. So no one is better than anyone. I try to teach my daughter to always stay humble. I can be a little bit of a bougie bitch, but I know where I come from. No, it's all about people. And I always say that, like, even when I'm doing deals, I always try to leave like a little bit for the next person, because if you take every penny from every deal and you don't leave any meat for the next person, then the cycle can't go, right? Like, you need to leave a little for the next person at least. Why do you seem so nice here? But I have two hats. I have my nice hat and my business hat. And when my business hat goes on, don't get it twisted, I do get a little savage. Business is business. We can have all the drinks you want, but when it comes time to do a deal, we do a deal. That like Megan Thee Stallion song. That's not true. You have books that you'll make money on. Avengers 1. I'm trying to think. Oh, the horrific, probably. The terrific. What is an ASM? Oh, man. I have to look that one up. I don't follow that market as closely. Those, like, books like that, I go and I look up what I'll pay, and that's how I decide. Are you mostly buying from professionals at shows or people from Craigslist? It used to be a lot easier to buy on Craigslist and eBay, but people know what they have now, and you don't get like ridiculous deals where you're making quadruple your money anymore. It's a very different market. The internet really changed things a lot. Isn't grading kind of different? Yeah, they're a little looser on Golden Age. Things that you can get away with on Golden Age, you can't get away with on Silver Age because the paper is different. So they do take that into account when they're grading. But if you can get a general idea of what stuff will grade out at, like, look, a 5.0 is a 5.0, right? Like maybe it's a 5.5 in Golden Age and a 4.5 in Silver Age or Bronze Age maybe, but a 5.0 is kind of a 5.0. It's like some things are maybe a little more lenient, but it kind of is what it is, if that makes sense. Okay, it's getting dark out and I can see my screen going greeny. Do you have Spider-Man 129? I do. I have an 8.0 and I have a, I think a 9.4 and I have a 9.2 coming in. So if you want to try to do something on one of those, send me a message on Instagram and I will send you my cell phone number if you want. Okay, so join me again next Saturday at 7, and that'll be our new schedule. And I will post our topic on Instagram sometime this week and get your questions ready. Okay, so I have so many She-Hulk ones. Best deal I found. Okay, see, it's getting dark now. Okay. Thank you guys for joining me. Yay for my first YouTube video. Cheers, my friends. And I hope I see you again next Saturday. Have a great night. Bye, guys. Happy Father's Day tomorrow to all of the dads watching. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.